Hi, this is Joel Guns, the Alfred Hitchcock geek in beautiful Missoula, Montana on the pandemic lockdown. And welcome to the very first edition of HITCH TALK, chatting with other Hitchcock geeks, nerds, scholars, and authors. Today, we've got a twofer and possibly a threefer. Robert Jones and Aimee Sinclair, and we may be joined by Dan Eiler a little bit later. They're the co-authors of the book Hitchcock's California, Vista Visions from the Camera Eye. So maybe what we can do to get things started is just go around the room and introduce ourselves.
My name's Aimee Sinclair, and I contributed to the book with the Souvenirs of a Killing series, a lot of the inserts and the photos on the inside of the book, on the covers.
I'm Robert Jones. I'm a photographer for 35 plus years. I'm a photojournalist. And of course, with Aimee and with Dan Eiler, I've been working on, for the past 5 years, Hitchcock's California.
There were two other contributors to the book as well. The great actor Bruce Dern, who wrote the introduction to the book, and Dorothy Herman, who wrote the conclusion to the book, and it is the daughter of the world's greatest cinema composer, in my mind, Bernard Herrmann. So
yeah.
It's a lovely book. It's a great, it's a coffee table book. It's almost a coffee table. What's the basic premise of the book?
Around 2003, I purchased a Hasselblad system called the X-Pan, and it's a panoramic camera, so it has a widescreen feel to it. It feels like you're watching a CinemaScope or a VistaVision widescreen presentation.
Why Hitchcock? Why not, some of the other greats, John Ford?
That's a good question, because Hitchcock is not my favorite director, but he's way up there. My favorite director is Billy Wilder, but most of what he has done has been in the studios. And to be honest, same with Alfred Hitchcock. Most of what you see in a Hitchcock movie has been filmed in the studios or on the back lot. But his use of locations is very memorable.
So you took that camera and then you used those to travel around the countryside in California and shoot scenes from Hitchcock's films. So Aimee, you came to this to Hitchcock new on this project, right? You hadn't seen many of his films. So what was that like for you?
It was kind of intimidating because I didn't know anything about Hitchcock. And so Robert sent me all of the movies and he's like, watch all of the movies, take notes. I think the first one that really captured me was Vertigo. I loved the colors in it and I loved the storyline. It was I was kind of hooked from there. So that one, Family Plot's another favorite of mine. So it was really neat kind of like learning about the history of cinema and how Hitchcock has contributed to cinema and how his ideas and the way he filmed movies still impacts directors today.
What were your favorite locations to shoot in?
Most of what I did was actually indoors. The only location one I really helped with was the bird shot down in Florida on the beach. So of course I love the beach.
So were those your seagull shots? Were those yours, or
Yeah.
Those were absolutely just stunning. So many of these photographs, they draw attention to the beauty of the area. The message almost could be, okay, so this is why Hitch chose this location. And one of them was like in Bodega Bay, and you see those hills sort of tumbling into the water and they're undulating. The line of the bay, it's almost like a platform or an anvil. One of the inspirations behind the birds, of course, was Edvard Munch's The Scream. And you've got the roiling sky and then that black flat land mass or water. Just looking at those land forms and the water forms in the sky, it, in my mind anyway, it very much reminded me of Munch's work in general. I could see him going into that area and saying, "Oh yeah, this is a very painterly place."
The sequencing of the book was done by Tim Hill, who had worked with Ansel Adams and a number of prominent photographers in the 60s and 70s.
He chose the page numbers? He basically decided which images would go on
That's
which.
right.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically my editor.
Did he have an overarching theory that was sort of like kind of the guiding principle behind how he chose which images would
Yes.
be? What was that?
He understands the visual relationships between any two given photographs in a spread, as well as the sequencing of the photographs when you turn the pages, to tell a visual story without the reader feeling like that it's obvious. He's very subtle. He's not trying to come up with ironic juxtapositions that basically throw the reader out of the experience, but he's trying to draw the reader into the experience. It's not provocative, it's evocative.
Thank you so much for stopping by. This is what it looks like again, Hitchcock's California. Try to display it without showing too much glare. Maybe the glare is good, you know. I can send a signal to Dan Eiler, who couldn't make it, an SOS signal. Dan, wish you were here. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you on the backside.